Ivanka Trump, daughter of Donald Trump, has displayed a remarkable transformation from heiress to fashion designer, businesswoman, wife, mother, and two-time published author. No matter what you might think of her father, there's no denying that Ivanka Trump has both the fashion and business sense to carry her far in her own right. Here's a look at the stunning transformation of Ivanka Trump. From boarding school to modeling. When Ivanka was still a teenager, she transferred from the Chapin Day School in New York City to Choate Rosemary Hall, a boarding school in Wallingford, Connecticut. The change wasn't easy, as she told Marie Claire. "I was all of a sudden in the prison of boarding school life, and all my friends in New York were having fun. To have an excuse to travel rather than being at the boarding school all the time, she started modeling, signing with Elite Model Management at the age of 14. Her early career included a spread in Elle and Tommy Hilfiger ads before landing the cover of 17 in 1997. She also walked runway fashion shows and co-hosted the Miss Teen USA pageant in 1997, which was owned by her father. Even though her modeling career was hot, she wasn't ready to make a long-term career out of it. She ditched modeling for college. Despite a successful modeling career, Ivanka was destined for a different path, so she began her college career at Georgetown University, where she studied for 2 years before transferring to the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, where her father attended. She graduated with a degree in economics, the same as her dad, in 2004. Even during college, she was doing speaking engagements, like in 2003 when she spoke at the Television Critics Association to promote the film she appeared in, Born Rich. Venturing into the business world. After graduation, Ivanka worked briefly at Forest City Enterprises as a project manager, which was her first professional introduction to working in real estate, despite her personal connection to the business through her father. According to her, it was important to her to prove that she had the chops for the business. In 2007, 2 years after joining her father's company, she founded Trump Hotels with her brothers. She returned to fashion. Although Ivanka had left the modeling world behind, she wasn't quite ready to abandon her ties to fashion altogether. In 2007, she joined forces with a diamond vendor to create Ivanka Trump Fine Jewelry, a line of diamond and gold jewelry for women buying for themselves. Just a few years later, she expanded the line to include shoes and handbags for working women. The line has since grown even further to include apparel, accessories, home accents, fragrance, and sunglasses. When she introduced her father as a Republican presidential candidate, it was in a $138 dress from her own fashion line. She's an author. In 2009, Ivanka published her first book, The Trump Card, Playing to Win in Work and Life, and celebrated with her signature funky glam look. She told the Zoe Report in 2014 that when it comes to feeling and looking glam, her go-to pieces are an amazing pair of heels and a piece of statement jewelry. She added, "Any outfit is elevated when well accessorized." Her sequin dress and sparkly hoops are a stunning example of this philosophy and are as eye-catching as her smile, which she pairs with a deep, on-trend smoky eye. Even at her book release, she was attracting fans. The book made it to the New York Times bestseller list. She has since penned a second book, Women Who Work: Rewriting the Rules for Success, which is set to be published in 2017. A classy wedding. While Ivanka was raised Presbyterian, she made the decision to convert to Orthodox Judaism after studying for over a year. She then married her husband, businessman Jared Kushner, in a Jewish ceremony in 2009 where she wore a custom Vera Wang gown as well as earrings and other jewels from her own jewelry line. Ivanka described to brides how she imagined herself walking down the aisle, saying, "I would say I am a traditional classic bride. This style is translated in my dress and jewelry choice." On designing the dress, Vera Wang told the New York Times, "She was actually very much about being covered, and I seized on the chance to do a dress that wasn't naked and very Hollywood." Pregnancy didn't hold her back. By 2011, Ivanka was pregnant with her first child. Despite her growing belly, Ivanka still worked hard as a businesswoman. Forbes described her as the world's hardest-working extremely pregnant heiress when it was discovered she was working right up through her due date. On maternity style in general, Ivanka told the Wall Street Journal, "You spend the better part of your youth experimenting and trying to find a style that fits your body type, and all that gets thrown out the window." Her history with the Clintons. Despite Hillary Clinton's run against her father in the 2016 presidential election, Ivanka is close friends with Clinton's daughter, Chelsea.
I think we have great respect for each other, and that hasn't changed. She's a great girl, and she's been a great friend to me. And obviously the intensity and the scrutiny of this moment in our lives is pretty extreme.
Surprisingly, Ivanka has said that, like many millennials, she doesn't consider herself categorically Republican or a Democrat. In 2007, she donated $1,000 to the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign, and in 2012, Ivanka endorsed Mitt Romney for president. Then, just a year later in 2013, Ivanka and her husband hosted a fundraiser for Democrat Cory Booker's U.S. Senate campaign and bundled contributions of more than $40,000. Chelsea Clinton told Vogue that Ivanka sometimes reminds her of her father, Bill Clinton, saying, "She's always aware of everyone around her and ensuring that everyone is enjoying the moment. It's an awareness that in some ways reminds me of my dad and his ability to increase the joy of the room." 2016 presidential election. From 2013 to 2015, Ivanka mostly remained out of the limelight, focused on her business ventures. When Donald Trump announced his run for president, she stood up for him about his remarks on immigration and the way he treats and feels about women, and has served as the face of the campaign's outreach to women. She also spoke out directly about her father's 2005 comments about assaulting women. This tape was over a decade old. I'm sure he didn't remember this conversation but was very embarrassed by it. And he expressed that not only to me personally, but to the American people, and I appreciate that he did that. I think it was very, very important for him to have done so. She stands by her father while calling herself a huge advocate for women and women's issues. She responded by vowing to be an advocate for women in her role in her father's presidency. The future of Ivanka's brand. As a result of the events surrounding the 2016 presidential election, voters began calling for a boycott of all Trump-affiliated products, including Ivanka's brand, and a full boycott of stores who continue to sell her brand. When asked about the boycott, she seemed unconcerned.
Well, the beauty of America is people can do what they like, but I'd prefer to talk to the millions, tens of millions of American women who are inspired by the brand and the message that I've created.
While the Trump name may, to many, be in conflict with what Ivanka wants her brand to represent, she doesn't seem too worried. With a potential role in the White House, she has bigger concerns. Thanks for watching. Click the list icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.